Lyme disease is a very integral part to why I am here talking to you right now. Without Lyme disease, I would not be here. But let me tell you something else, and this is going to go back into turning your pain into power. Free will is the reason I am here. Lyme disease was always a part of Janna's story, right? Her life story. Before I was born, when I came into this earth, Lyme disease was part of my life. You want to know what wasn't a part of my life? Was the deciding factor, aka free will, of me choosing how I went about Lyme disease. You're damn right if you're thinking, what? Free will is real, my friends. And that is where the magic comes in, because you're not just set like, okay, here's Janna, she's going to have Lyme disease and she's going to get over it, but all these other fucking people are going to suffer. Are you serious? Absolutely not. We all have the opportunity, but we just don't dive into free will. We don't take advantage of free will because we're fucking scared. Because it's easier to be the victim. What will others think? Who gives a shit? It's your life. Don't you want to feel good? Hi everyone, Janna here. Welcome to my show, Revive with Janna. Thank you all for tuning in. I often get asked how I developed such a strong, resilient mindset. And for those of you that have read my #1 bestseller, Unfuck Your Mind, then you know. For those of you that haven't and you're asking me, what are you waiting for? Go buy my book and you will understand exactly how I obtained my mindset I have today. You also will learn how you can do the same thing for yourself. But I want to dive today into, in specific, my Lyme disease journey. So Lyme disease was the very first catalyst in me becoming who I am today, and how I turned the pain into power. And so I share this in chapter 5 of my book, Unfuck Your Mind. In fact, I have it open to that chapter for those of you watching on YouTube. I have it open to that chapter right now. And at the beginning of each chapter in my book, I write, I have a little quote that I've come up with for each chapter. And at the end of each chapter, I have a takeaway. Chapter 5 is the first catalyst of breaking the chains. So Lyme disease was the first catalyst. And what I wrote for my quote was, the disease that turned my life upside down and awoke my inner warrior. It was time to make a choice. Now, the end of each chapter, like I said, I have a takeaway. This is what I wrote at the end of chapter 5 in Unfuck Your Mind. Lyme disease was almost the death of me. It brought me to the depths of hell. It also brought me to my knees. The day I almost took my own life to end the suffering was the day I said, fuck Lyme. I chose to live. I chose to believe I could get well and eradicate Lyme from my body when everything told me that was not possible. I won, and I left Lyme in the depths of hell where it took me. My friends, that is powerful. And when I wrote that in my manuscript, as I read it to you again now, I can feel that power. I remember the pivotal moment in my chronic Lyme disease journey where I said, fuck Lyme. You took over the wrong body. It's time to get the fuck out. We all have an inner warrior inside of us, and we just don't realize it. But that inner warrior is there, and it's just waiting for when the hard times come knocking on your door. It's going to answer, but you have to let it. See, though we all have an inner warrior, oftentimes we don't even let it come to the door. We don't even let it in. We just keep it locked away. And why? Because we obtain a victim mentality. And I believe in today's society, there's just too much of the victim mentality. Woe is me, everyone gets a trophy. And, that's just not how life is. What are we teaching? Come on, what are we teaching? There's not a magic pill for everything, though there seems to be. There's just not. Lyme disease is a multifaceted disease. It's the great imitator. because it mimics other diseases. It takes a really long time for a sick person to uncover what is making them so sick as Lyme disease, because they get told, just like I did, right? You have hypothyroidism, you have heavy metal toxicity, you have a leaky gut, you're anemic, you have this, you have this, you have that, da, da, da. And so you just stop there. Okay, well, it's my thyroid. I'm going to take this little pill. It's not going to do shit. I'm just going to assume for the rest of my life, I just have a poor thyroid. You can't stop looking and searching for the answers. Your body does not just turn against you. You have to remember that your body speaks to you through symptoms. Sometimes it whispers, and then when you don't listen, it talks a little louder. When you still don't listen, it yells at you. And when you still don't listen, it screams at you. Never, ever ignore symptoms and never think that that's just the way it is. That's not the way it is. Our bodies have the innate ability to heal if we give it the right environment. So I'm going to go back to turning my pain into power, right? I was a very healthy 31-year-old. And, this was like 12 years ago. I'm still healthy, but I'm just saying this was 12 years ago, right? 2012, I'm super healthy. And all of a sudden, I just start not feeling very well. And I had 2 young toddlers. So I just kind of chalked it up to motherhood. I worked all the time. I was super mom. And so I just kind of thought that's what it was. And you want to know why? Because that's what people said. You have kids. This is just part of it. It's just your hormones. And though I kind of listened to that, there was a part inside of me that was like, there's something wrong. And so I went to doctor after doctor after doctor, couldn't figure anything out. 6 months later, after that bullseye rash, and I did get one, right? Only 30% of Lyme disease people get the bullseye rash, and I did in April of 2012, but I ignored it. I'd never heard of Lyme disease, didn't know that was something, to take care of. So 6 months after that, my life just stopped, fell apart. And you can learn more about that particular part of my journey in my book. So I'm not going to go all into that. I just want to say that when my life completely fell apart and my body truly stopped functioning, as sick as I was, as horrific as the neurological symptoms were, I never stopped searching. I always knew underneath all that brain fog, something's not right. Something's making me sick. And honestly, I should have given up. I had doctor after doctor, family members, spouse, so-called friends, you name it, tell me that this is just it. Like, stop looking. Just like, it's all in your head. You name it. I heard all the bullshit lies and assumptions you can think of. And that's the thing when you live with an invisible disease, you become invisible. When people see you, when people saw Janna when I was sick, they didn't see Janna. They saw Lyme disease. And that's all they asked me about. Oh my gosh, how are you? How are you feeling? You have Lyme disease, right? Oh, bless your heart. I hope it gets better. And they walk away, and I never heard a fucking thing again. And you want to know something? It disgusted me because they didn't really give a shit. And let me tell you something else about living with an invisible disease. And it's something for those fake people that they take for granted. When everyone treated me that way, when I was told by a very, very close sibling, just take some Prozac and shut up. When I was told by my then husband, it's all in your head. Stop researching. Stop looking. I'm gonna cut off the internet to the house if you don't stop researching. Oh yeah, I was told that. I can go on and on and on. And you know what it did to me inside? I didn't realize it, but I was creating this resilience and this grit and this determination inside because it pissed me off. It pissed me off that someone and people who were supposed to fucking love me and support me more than anybody else disregarded me, just like those other people at the get-togethers, the people you ran into in public, the people that came over. How the fuck could my own siblings and my own husband and my own family, my own so-called close friends, how could they disregard me too? I guess I was invisible to them as well. That's what went through my head. But with each time and with each day, week, month, it just pissed me off. And that's okay. People were like, oh, you got pissed off. The fuck I did. Lyme disease will piss you the fuck off because it's hell. It's absolute fucking hell. And you don't know the way out, right? You don't fucking know. And you believe in the doctors, you take their advice, but they don't know shit. Conventional medicine doesn't know shit. In functional medicine, well, you better hope you find a real good doctor. Maybe they once had it and they'll understand. They might support you a little better, but nobody fucking knows. It's a lonely, scary, horrifying disease. And people don't say it enough. It's just now, today, and recently that famous people, right? People that are well known are starting to come out about the fact that they got Lyme disease, that they're struggling. And you know what? I'm going to speak more about it too. Lyme disease is a very integral part to why I am here talking to you right now. Without Lyme disease, I would not be here. But let me tell you something else. And this is going to go back into turning your pain into power. Free will is the reason I am here. Lyme disease was always a part of Janna's story, right? Her life story. Before I was born, when I came into this earth, Lyme disease was part of my life. You want to know what wasn't a part of my life? Was the deciding factor, aka free will, of me choosing how I went about Lyme disease. You're damn right if you're thinking, what? Free will is real, my friends. And that is where the magic comes in, because you're not just set like, okay, here's Janna, she's going to have Lyme disease and she's going to get over it, but all these other fucking people are going to suffer. Are you serious? Absolutely not. We all have the opportunity, but we just don't dive into free will. We don't take advantage of free will because we're fucking scared. Because it's easier to be the victim. What will others think? Who gives a shit? It's your life. Don't you want to feel good? When you're going to fight to survive day to day, to fight to be the victim? Or do you want to fucking fight to live? Ask yourself what you want with each passing minute, hour, day, year. I know the moment in my Lyme disease journey, after I tried all the treatments and got worse and worse and worse, it was a day I almost took my own life. I didn't want to fucking live another second of that hell. But I had 2 young kids, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. But I had a moment of clarity when I realized God did not put me on this earth and those 2 precious kids on this earth for me to go out like this. No. Fuck the naysayers. Fuck the people that say you can't eradicate Lyme from your body. It goes dormant. It does for you because that's what you believe. I chose that day to say, fuck you, Lyme. You're going to go back to the hell that you came from. I had nothing left to lose, but I had a whole lot to gain. I had a whole lot to win. And I had a whole fucking lot to live for. And I was going to be damned if I went out like that. And see, guys, that moment was a pivotal moment for me when things changed. I didn't realize it at the time, but as life shows us, as we go through things, when we look back on it, we have the ability to look back on it, we see the picture, right? And I realized when I chose differently in my mind, I did differently. I acted differently. Your actions follow your thoughts, and that's just the way it is. But it was the free will moment where I chose differently. So with free will, there's the Lyme disease journey that Janna was always going to go on no matter what. It was part of my destiny, was in the stars, however you want to say it. That was there. But there's Lyme disease right here, front and center. And then there's free will hanging over it. And the free will said, this is the path to healing and beating it. And this is the road that just leaves you stuck. And you say the victim because you never choose different. You just stayed stuck. Maybe someone told you did. Maybe someone said you can't get well. But you just never, ever chose different. Doctors are just people. And if you really think about it, everybody just repeats what the fuck they heard. And they believe it. They think that's just gold. Well, a doctor said that. Well, doctors say a lot of shit. I had a doctor that wanted to put me into medically induced menopause at the ripe old age of 30 fucking 1 when I was sick with Lyme disease but he didn't dive deep enough to check it. And if I'd have listened to that POS, I would not have my most precious Broden, who's 8 years old today. Thank God I didn't listen to that doctor. You have to be your own wellness advocate, my friends. No one lives in your body. Doctors serve a purpose, but they are not God. God can do the impossible, and so can you. But it begins with your mindset. All of that pain that you feel, it really isn't to be your power, but you have to turn your pain into power. And you do that. You do that by free will and choosing the other path. Choose the road less traveled. Carve your own fucking road and path. People worry so much about what others think and what negative outcome that they stop thinking, what do I have to lose? I have so much more to gain. That's how you turn your pain into power, is your mindset. I realized as I began to get well, and I realized, wow, that day I said, fuck Lyme, and I chose differently. I began to do differently. And I started to realize, you know what? I am meant to be that story of hope. I am meant to be the person that got well and was sick as these people once were, but I'm proof that you can get well. I am meant to be that story. You are not going through something so painful for nothing. Don't think for one fucking second you are. You stop that woe is me shit. You get up and put your big girl panties on, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you stop throwing yourself a pity party. And until you do that, nothing's going to change for you. So, yeah, you can sit there and say, see, look, nope, nothing's changed. You know what? Nothing changes until you change, my friends. Nothing changes until your mindset changes. Nothing changes until you choose to make a change, to change. It's time you start choosing. Until you choose yourself and you fight for yourself, nothing and no one else will. You are your own wellness advocate. You are your own warrior. You just got to believe it. I'm not lucky. I'm just fucking determined. I'm resilient. I am strong. I am able. And I am a warrior. And I'll be damned if I ever go down without a fight. My friends, the pain that you are experiencing, the pain you're going through, the pain you're feeling, it is there to be your teacher. You just need to say, hey, what is it that I need to learn? What is the lesson here for me? And I promise you, the universe will answer it. It answers fast. I love you all. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this topic. And I hope that I helped you in some way today. If so, please tell others about this episode. Subscribe and rate. Leave me a message. Follow me on Instagram at Revive by Janna. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon.